November 12th, 2025. How's it going, guys? Well, I got another video. What are we going to talk about? Kansas City, Independence, Missouri. We're going to talk about crime. We're going to talk about drugs, and we're going to talk about the homeless. Now, lots happened last few days and over the weekend. Oh, does the crime and the drugs stop here? No, definitely not. But what I want to get to first is the deal. There was an article that was put out by the Kansas City Star. The gentleman's name was David Hudnall. Now, this was on November 9th at 6 a.m. And what it talks about, it says inside the KC strip malls, the casinos where the bets are real, but the laws are murky. Now, you got places like your vape places. You got small little liquor stores and stuff. It's got these arcade machines, but they're also like basically a casino, kind of like a slot machines. And if you want to check this out, I would advise going to this. This is a very long article. And Missouri houses over 15,000 of these machines in different places. And they bring in a lot of crime, a lot of drugs, prostitution. Some of these places are listed as 777 on the small buildings. And where some of these places have went in, the crime has increased from drug overdoses and prostitution by over 50%. Like I say, check this out. Like I said, it's called Inside Casey's Strip Mall Casinos, where the bets are real, but the laws are murky. And it was written by David Hudnall. Last name Hudnall. I think it's Hudnall or Hudnall. And it was posted on November 9th. You guys might find that very interesting. Now, getting on with this, we'll go from there. And I'll show one picture of this deal too, so you guys can see this real quick if you can see it. I don't know if that will focus in or not. Okay, so I've been helping out a friend that's taking some training, and I've been getting up pretty early in the morning, from about 4:20 to about 4:40 a.m. And because he's got to be at a certain place for his training at a certain time. And when I come back here, it was probably about 5:40 a.m. in the morning up here by the Blue View. That good Blue View. Oh man, it's brought in so much bad stuff and crud. It's not even funny. Got a guy that's walking across. It's high as anything. He can't hardly stand. He's moving his arms back and forth like this, and he can't hardly walk. Now, I think when I came back here, I kind of looked, I think it was like 45 degrees by my temperature deal and stuff. But I'm thinking, man, these people, there is no stopping when it comes to these drugs. And they just keep on going and going. And I don't think there's very much hope for these people. I mean, really not. I mean, I see stuff even like we have a meth recovery place that was brought in down here. And a lot of these people, there's stuff that's going on. There's cars that sit up there after midnight when the place is not open. And what are they doing? Are they using that location to deal? Because they sit up the top of the hill with their headlights on. They can see all the way up to Blue View. And some of these duplexes up here were known places for dealing drugs. Over the last several years, they've busted several people up there. Also on top of a place that was also running hot car parts and stuff. And probably still is, because a few days back when I went by there, I noticed this. A garage still had about half those car parts still sitting in there. Interesting. Not good, guys. So let me show this guy real quick. I pulled my body cam off early this morning. Caught this guy going across over here at Blue View. And over the weekend, too, there was another incident. There's been massive incidents. We got still down here at 23rd and a Chrysler. They're still dealing the drugs down there in front of the store. I think I got a photo of that where this guy is standing out in front, but he's usually sitting down there. They're still running. And even down here off 435 at that little cubbyhole station sits back there. it they're at it again. There's cars sitting down there out from the building there, and they're dealing drugs. Independence needs to get back down there again, or Kansas City, Missouri. I mean, it's a non-ending cycle, you know. But if they would bust them, if they would arrest them, if they'd put them in jail, that would stop that, you know. So let's take a look. Okay, guys. So what you're looking at first here, before I show this Blue View deal, is over the weekend. This is another freaky weird deal. This car was up here. Now this is up here at I-70 in Nolan. And he's setting off kind of onto this curve here. Now, what I couldn't get over is how this car ended up there. And there was a couple guys that was behind us that actually had their phone out. They were filming this even, like, because they couldn't figure out how this guy ended up over here kind of on this island. And there's been massive wrecks on these ramps. These people are high. They're like I say, floating high as a kite on, you know, different things. But I'm also wondering too, I've been noticing lately, some of these cars are fairly newer cars. And, you know, there was a lot of scams out west way back where these people were running into one another so they could get money out of the insurance companies. And I'm just wondering if that's what's going on here. I don't know. I mean, some of this is these people are high or drunk or whatever. But I don't know. There's so many. It's just, but there's so many of them doing the drugs though too. So I wanted to show that real quick. And this guy actually had walked up over there to ask the person what was going on, and it was just sitting there. So I don't even know what came of this. But hold on. I'll show this one more time to you guys. So if you want to look up that article on those, because they say these places are bringing in massive bad stuff. I think they said there's God, used to be like an X-rated place over here in Kansas City. I don't know what that road is over there. But they got to put in a video place like this. And I guess the X-rated place wasn't bad compared to this, because they said since they went in there, the calls to like the fire department and stuff about, you know, people OD'd and stuff have went up like 50% here in Kansas City. Not good. Like I say, read the article. It's a little bit lengthy. It's long, but it is very informative. So hold on. Okay, guys. So this is up at the Blue View up here at 47th Street, that Blue View Shopping Center, top of the hill. And this is a silhouette of the guy. And see where his arms are at. This guy was staggering so bad to try to stay standing. It wasn't even funny. Now I'm going to flip this to the next one. Oops, sorry, wrong way. As you can see, his arms were. That's his arm right there. And his arms were over there. The other one was floating back. He couldn't hardly stand. He was so high as a kite floating. Now, what happens when it gets completely freezing? And this guy up there at Blue View falls over and well, that'll be another dead-on arrival, huh, guys? Well, you know, they're still having those parties back behind there, too. Now, they've kind of lowered the intensity of them. Last time I went by there, it didn't smell like a weed factory. But there was a lot of cars over there. And that's back that other big house that's back off. What is that? Is that I can't always get them mixed up. I think it's Blue Ridge, or is that Raytown Road up there, or whatever it is. But not good. Now I'm going to try to also play a little bit of video of this too. Hold on. Let's see if you guys can see this. Now, I was driving. I had to pull my body cam off. And let's see if you can see that guy over by the pole and back behind that pole. And he's jumping around. He's just kind of, he's just barely standing. Crazy, guys. Now, hold on. All right. You can see him better right there. And he was just staggering all over. High as a kite. Not good. All right, guys. So here's the BP state. I think that's BP still down there, 23rd in Chrysler. And there's either one or two guys that are hunched down up against the doorway, or there's one standing here. And cars will pull up. They sell their drugs and stuff. This is nothing new. This is a constant. And it just keeps on going on. But I wanted to show that too. And this guy was the same one. Because one of them rides a bike. And they hang right out in front of the door. Now, I mean, if you had a convenience store, would you want these guys hanging in front? But they must like that stuff. They must like that stuff going on out in front. I mean, that's crazy. That is crazy. But that is the guy there in a jacket. And there's a vehicle there pulled up over there. Not good. Not good. Also, I wanted to make a comment too. That this, I think that's CVS over there. It's either CVS or Walgreens, but they've put a whole bunch of, they brought in a whole bunch of portable lighting. Now, I pretty much see everything goes on. There was Independence was making their presence known over there too. And they were setting a police vehicle over there with an officer. And it sat there over there for a while with like these lights lighting up. Now, I don't know if this pertained to the shooting that happened up there in North Kansas City. I don't know if you guys, I mean, we've had so many more shootings and stuff and killings, it's not even funny. But they had a CVS up in North Kansas City up there, calling by Burlington Armor on that kind of, when you get too close to that corner. And guy shot and killed this other guy. Had worked there for like 4 years. But just something else to be aware of. But they do have some portable lights that they've brought in over here across the way. Probably trying to keep this stuff down because they probably, if they got onto them here, they probably ran over here. That's what they do. Once they run them out one place or get them gone one place, they go somewhere else, guys. And I wanted to show that too. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up for right now. I got a lot of videos coming. I haven't been to the zoo in a couple days. I do have a lot of videos from over the weekend I didn't get posted, so I'm going to be posting some of those too. And we're going to be talking about some metaphysics. You know, there's a couple of metaphysic deals that's coming up. I think Ameristar's got one this weekend coming up. But the big one, and really big one, that's going to be happening, is going to be at Harrah's. Not this weekend, but next weekend. And that's the one to go to. Get a chance, check it out. Those are the real McCoys there. Everybody it'll be at Harrah's there. They're real. The psychics are real. Those are the real ones. And whether they do the psychic, whether they do Reiki, they got the real stuff. And that's what I always look for, because it's kind of hard to find people that actually can do what they say they can do, especially here in Kansas City. Anyway, guys, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there.